Oh, man. Big
My goodness. Okay, well, listen, the first thing you got to tell me is, when did the ball first start bouncing for you? When did you first start playing basketball? Not organized, but when that sucker, Sandlot, whatever.
Oh, Sandlot.
Yeah.
Oh man. Shoot, maybe 4th grade. Outside, brother beating me up, busting my nose. That's when it started. But that was just for fun, kicking it. At that time, kids actually still went outside. Unlike now. But yeah, I mean, all the neighborhood kids played. I was just a little fat chubby girl running around following my brother.
Right.
And one day, this little boy, he didn't show up, so I had to play, which my brother did not want me to. Obviously, I didn't do nothing.
He had no interest in you playing? Why? Because you weren't good? Because you little sis?
I didn't do nothing. Little sis wasn't good. I was just there. And so I started playing, and still I wasn't thinking like, ooh, I want to do this. Just like, all my friends doing it, I'm going to do it. And that's kind of how I got into it.
Oh, wow. So one day turned into every day?
Yeah, even then I didn't take it seriously. So like, I started playing for real in middle school. Still, because my best friend did it. So she joined Carver. I went to Carver. She joined the team, so I got to get on. Ariel, you got to go to Carver.
You're the Wildcat.
And then I just kind of kept following my friends. Then we got to high school, and then it was like this avenue to get college paid for. And so that's kind of how I kept going. Then I got serious after high school.
Wowzers. So honestly, I can't tell you when the thought of this could take me to college really came. But I don't. You made it seem like it was early for you. Like you knew that as a 9th grader coming into high school.
No. I was still playing. I was just competitive.
Yeah.
In 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and then when, basically at the beginning of my senior year, when now you're actually thinking about college, I still didn't necessarily want to play in college. I just didn't want to pay for college. And so it was like, either get scholarships academically, which I was kind of breezing through, or it was go play basketball. And still, I didn't think that was an option because, I mean, I was just, come play defense type kid, run around, talk to my teammates. And then JUCO started being interested in me. And then that's when I talked to my parents, and they were like, well, how you going to pay for college if you don't play? And so I was like, well, I got to now.
I love that. That's a coded message because basically they're saying is, hey, yo, we ain't got it.
Yeah.
I feel that. Okay, so do you know how, in hindsight, because you may not have known in the moment, but did you take off pretty early with this sport? Like, did it come naturally to you early, or was it tough sledding in the beginning?
Defense came naturally to me.
Yeah.
Because I was a little faster kid, and I could kind of read people with the ball a little better than most kids then. Like, most people set up moves still in high school. So if you look at enough kids playing, and then at that time I started watching college. So if you watching enough, you can see, like, when she starts doing this, she about to spin or she's about to go through. So defense came naturally to me. Offense, not at all. I ain't started. Yeah, no, I was straight play defense on her, run the play, shoot a wide open layup type of kid. And then after high school, like literally directly after I committed to Seminole, Haley Langster and her brother Jordan, everybody know them.
Yep,
she started taking me to her workouts because she was still playing overseas at that time. And then that's when I developed my offensive game. And then in college, I was a completely different player.
Ooh, but the defense stayed consistent.
Oh, defense stayed, because that's what I actually love.
Come on now.
I'm like, scoring is cool, it's flashy, people like you when you score, but like that kid that's good and you get to shut them down every night, that was the competitive part.
So that was your approach, like, okay, this is supposed to be somebody here. See, I think the average player will say, man, I'll get him buckets, as opposed to some that'll be like, okay, I'm gonna lock that up.
Yeah, and I love that every time because I'm like, you supposed to be that person, and I'm, nobody really, and I'm shutting you down every night. So I'm like, y'all gonna talk about me one way or another.
Ooh.
And so I knew in high school at least it wasn't gonna be offensively.
Right.
And then in college when I started scoring, now it's like, I'm gonna shut you down and I'm gonna get buckets on you. But the first thing is I'm gonna shut you down.
Yeah.
And so I love that part. Even now, my players, I'm like, I don't care about you getting 20 points. Get 20 points, please.
Yeah, we need.
But go play some defense.
Yeah. Can you hold your adversary and her average?
Like, if you get 20 and they get 26, you lost.
Yeah, that's a terrible 20.
Yeah.
You still get active with them? You still get out here every now and again?
Oh, absolutely not.
None? It's a wrap?
It's a wrap. I had too many injuries. So I'm just like kind of scared I'm going to get hurt again. But I'll get out like if I have to, and I'll run point. But I'm not looking to score. Just dish it and, talk trash. That's really it.
That mean you ain't guarding no more either.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
She flat on
No.
everything.
I'm
Okay,
like, y'all
so
not finna cross me out here.
of all of my little research, so to speak, you got to tell me about the injuries. I wasn't aware. What all did you do to yourself and when?
Yeah, so I didn't finish JUCO or Rogers State. I didn't finish. So my sophomore year at Seminole,
Right.
we were like the week before our first game, go up for a layup, wide open layup, hurt my knee. Nothing serious we're thinking because like I'm walking after, and it ends up being an MCL. I'm sorry, not MCL, meniscus. Not a big deal at all, right? I planned it to where I'll get surgery right at that break. You know, you got that JUCO long break, you come back, you're doing 2 a days and all that stuff. So I'm like, I'm gonna miss it. But I come out of surgery and I had holes in my cartilage. And so they ended up having to drill holes in my kneecap, and it's basically like a ACL recovery.
Yeah.
And so that was my first one. And I didn't let that heal properly because I'm trying to get back because I'm JUCO. So I'm like,
oh yeah.
at this point, I got to get somewhere.
Your career might be over after this stuff.
Yeah.
If you ain't careful.
And I was talking to like some nice coaches, and all that fell through. As soon as I got hurt, like the bucket dropped. There was nothing. Everybody dropped off. And so ended up getting to Rogers State. My assistant coach over at Seminole saw the head coach and was like, if you don't get hurt, you stupid.
Yeah.
And so hadn't seen me play since high school, offered me a full scholarship, like just a blessing. And then I fractured my ankle, high ankle fracture, about a month before my senior season was over.
Good Lord. Now,
Yeah.
was this on the same leg?
Same leg. Yeah, this whole leg is done.
Oh.
So,
Come
and I didn't
on.
let my ankle heal properly because I'm like, I'm not playing no more after this. So I was chilling. So this little gimpy over here.
I feel that. So you didn't get to finish. Did you ever get some closure on that deal? I know that sounds super cheesy, but a lot of times, you know how it is whenever that you didn't get it all out of you?
Yeah.
Did you ever go through those feelings? And if so, do you still have that, or you over it now?
I'm over it now. I had it, but like at the end of both of those seasons, I was like really moving forward with God. And so it ended up being a lesson for all of my seasons moving forward beyond basketball. It's like, make sure you finish things correctly. Because both of those, I'm not upset I got hurt. I'm upset that like, okay, my sophomore season, I could have went way harder in those games and solidified a scholarship.
Yeah.
But instead, I'm chilling. And then same thing at Rogers State, like, you're kind of breezing through, you know, you're doing really good this game, you know, you're kind of chilling. And so just like not giving everything my all in the time that I had.
Yeah.
And so it more came into life lessons now of like, make sure you're doing things properly because you don't know when that part of your life's going to be over.
Yeah, tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah.
Even though that's super cliche, but
it's true.
Really real.
Yeah.
Talk about that JUCO grind, dog.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, because I know I have my take on it, and what I always tell anybody who will listen is like, it's not for everybody, number one. And you got to really be driven to do this, to get up out of there.
Yeah.
It was dog eat dog during my experiences. It's like I almost had to unlearn some of the stuff that I was always taught as a player about how you're supposed to play. Like, hey, we over me, you know, we're going to make the right plays. We trying to win, not necessarily trying to feature ourselves. Everybody wasn't wired that way when I was at Murray. But today you would say what?
No, that was my favorite time of playing basketball was JUCO. Because exactly that, like you go out and you got teammates I got to get 20 because I got to get somewhere else. And so it really is like, people don't understand, like it's dogs in JUCO. Like it ain't chumps. Like it's people that didn't go D1 because of grades, or people that transferred down because they need to get somewhere else. So I'm like, you playing people that can hoop, and we had some hoopers and grown adults, and we had some hoopers both of my years there. But I loved it, and it is like you're focused on the next thing because you don't have anything guaranteed after. You don't even have the next year guaranteed, honestly.
Right.
And so that's what I loved. I loved the grind. I loved sneaking into the gym at that point. I love all the freedom of JUCO. Like, you go to practice, you go to games, and then you by yourself, basically. Yeah. Unlike, you know, going to the next level, then they got all these rules and stuff. But
your whole day planned out and restrictions on top of that.
Yes. I'm just like, ooh. But no, I loved it. It was a great time. And like I said, you got dogs. You got dogs every night that you're playing against. I don't think we had any team that didn't have somebody that went D1 that we played against. So I love that because I'm like, you going D1, I'm trying to lock you down. They looking at you, they gonna see me too.
See me. Come on,
so,
you gotta have a good dance partner.
Yeah. So I'm
that.
like, it's just like kind of high school all over again. You trying to get recruited, and so I'm like, good. I know coach is gonna be in these gym looking at somebody. They're gonna have to see me after.
Right. Can you think of one moment where it's like, okay, this is a new level? Whether it was at practice, preseason conditioning, game, whatever.
Man, I would say it was definitely at practice. So we had some girls that was older. That was like junior, seniors, basically. And I come in and I'm used to being the leader, being the captain, right? I didn't score the most points or whatever, but like everybody was gonna respect me. At this point, these grown women here, and like they done been other schools and came back, and so I'm trying to lead. And we go in the locker room.
Vocally, you mean?
Vocally.
You running your mouth.
Yeah,
okay,
and I talk trash naturally.
Ooh,
so I'm like, we scrimmaging, like, you gonna get all of this.
I love all that.
And they're running me over on the court, like knocking me down. Coaches ain't saying nothing, so I'm like, oh, this real now. And so they talking trash back. Normally people didn't really talk trash back to me, so it was just like, it was like, okay, this is real, and I love it. Because now, like, you knocking me down, I'm finna knock you down.
Right.
You talking trash, gotta talk more trash now. So, but then you go in the locker room and you cool. So I was like, I really enjoyed that.
Now hold on. Now this is where I'm gonna generalize a little bit because see, that ain't always. That's one of the most fundamental differences that I've seen between guys
Absolutely.
and girls. Like usually, like if it's up, then it's up always. And I'm like, damn, well, there ain't no off switch. But fellas, like we battle. Then a lot of times that's your partner after that. So, but have you always been wired that way, or was that new to you to realize that, okay, we really ain't tripping here? I guess it's all good.
No, that was new. So I didn't have that in high school. Yeah, I'm talking trash to you. We ain't friends after this no more. And so I had one teammate like that in JUCO that like she couldn't stand me because I talk trash. But I mean, everybody else was like, they enjoyed it just like I enjoyed it. So it wasn't like anything bad.
Did you go through being homesick at all? Early
Absolutely
on?
not.
Nah?
No.
So you couldn't wait to get gone?
I love the freedom.
Okay.
I mean, my mom took my car. I didn't get to take my car up there. So I'm running around with my teammates. I mean, I had enough money. So I'm like, I'm cool up here.
What's the psychology if you ever got told what it is behind taking the kid's car? You know, like if you had it already, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna send you to school where it's arguably you need it the most.
Right.
They're like, no, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna send you down there without it. I'm not saying I disagree. I just don't understand the logic behind it.
Yeah. So I was told so that I didn't get too loose. Like just going wherever. I'm like, I just rode with people to get there anyways. Like you didn't really stop anything, but so that I didn't get too much freedom or too wild to just drive around wherever I wanted to.
Okay.
But I got it my second year.
So it's the whole year one, not just the first semester, the whole year
whole
one, you
year
had to thug
one.
it out.
Yeah.
What about when you came home for holiday break? You got to get active?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
there
did.
you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Cool. Now, shake the cobwebs off. All right. So leaving junior college, I can remember I played on two very bad teams. You know, when I was coming out of Murray, so nobody was really checking for us. So we sort of had to like pound the pavement on our own. So we're going to these open runs and tryouts in the springs. Eventually, I landed something, and you spoke a little bit about how it happened for you. So did you have your pick of the litter, or was it just RSU right out the gate? They were
RSU.
first. You went with them.
Yeah, no. So I was not trying to go to RSU because I was trying to get out of Oklahoma.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, I mean, I've been here forever.
Yeah.
Basically, Seminole, you know, that's Oklahoma. And so I was trying to get out. So I actually went to try out at Henderson State in Arkansas. And horrible. It was like basically my first day back after injury.
So you're saying you were horrible?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
horrible.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, I like everything that I was good at was trash that day. And
Stunk
so
to join up.
yeah, and RSU had already offered me, and I was like, I'm not going there. But after Henderson State, I had nothing. I'm like, I'm not gonna keep going to tryouts. So I was like, I'll just take it.
Well, no. Now, see, were they Division II at that time already?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that grind like? You stepping it up a level. You've gone from high school to junior college. You felt that transition. Now about the next transition from one level of college to the NCAA level.
Yeah.
And all the guidelines and the restrictions that come with it. What was that all about?
I loved it a little less because more restrictions, right? But I liked it because, I mean, you got media days, right? You got actually good food there, right? That was a big thing.
Fair enough.
You in the dorms, right? So I loved it in that aspect. Obviously, the conditioning was way different.
Yeah.
Because, like, you waking
need to
up
know.
at 5 and then you going to run for an hour, whatever that running is. Then right after that, you going to weights for another 45 minutes to an hour. Then you got to eat and go to class and do all, like, we didn't do that at Seminole. So that was the biggest, like, that's when I was like, oh, this is for real now. Because we might have woken up a couple Fridays to go run 2 miles. And, like, that's it. And then everything else was practice. But it's like, you got all of that, you got class, and you got pickup after.
Okay.
Or I might have individuals after. It's just like, y'all doing a lot. Then you got community service on top of that.
Now, that's not something I hear about all the time. Damn.
Yeah, so we had a lot of community service at RSU, which I love, like give back to the community, a way to get them back. And it was usually fun. Like we went to elementary schools and played with kids and did stuff like that. But again, another thing you got to do.
Yeah.
And so that it was harder to stay on top of things because you had so much extra non-school stuff to do.
Yeah. What were the repercussions if you blew off class?
Oh, you ain't blowing off class.
Yeah, it's just it ain't happening.
It's not happening. We had another player, I'm not going to say who it is, but she blew off class a couple times. And basically all that preseason conditioning was her punishment.
Ooh.
And that's, that's horrible. Yeah. So ain't nobody trying to do that anymore. So it's like
2 months of work too, by the way.
Yes. And so it was like, we good on that. We just going to get up and go to class.
Well, nothing like that in junior college, on. You can not go if you didn't feel like it.
Yeah, I mean, you might have some running, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't that bad of running. Like, you can get through it.
Not life-changing.
Yeah.
So what was your role once you got to RSU? All right, were you same old Rachel, or had you expanded your game now? You still just a defender, or now you can put that rock in the basket?
Nah. So at Seminole, I started scoring.
All right.
So once I got to Seminole, of course, I'm still trying to be a best defender. We had 2 other guards that were really good defenders, like on my team. But I still took the best person. And so at that point is when I really developed a scoring game. I could shoot now. The only thing I never really developed is a 3. But I'm like, I'm strong. If you my size or a little bit bigger and skinnier, then I'm going to post you up still. Like, because I'm strong enough to do that. I'm a little short person, but still strong enough.
Right.
And love to get to the basket and then love all mid-range, right? And everybody's shooting threes or layups. So I'm like, throwback. I mean, it's the simplest of the game, right? And I was late offensively. So it's like, I'm not trying to do what's easiest to do, a little pull-up. Most people weren't guarding that. And so got hurt. And then it came back pretty quickly after I got back and got to Rogers State.
Now, would you say it's easier to teach a naturally defensive person how to be offensive, or the other way around?
I say it's easier because if you're actually good at defense, you know how to read the offense. So it's easier to like transition to like, so this is what they do to try to set me up, and then just try to emulate that.
That's one of the best breakdowns I've heard. Short and sweet, to the point. Now the rehab though. Okay, so I've always heard from anybody who's had a debilitating injury, which I'm luckily I haven't had one, that it's so grueling. You know what I mean? And when you come back, whatever was hurt is probably stronger than the other one, or stronger than it was before the breakdown. What are some of the rigors of your rehabilitation process that you can remember?
Yeah. Mine would just be so mentally, like having to watch my team play and I'm not out there.
Oh, that was punishment for you.
Oh, punishment. I hate it. And what was actually more punishing is seeing that defender that that offensive person that I would have been guarding, getting those numbers. Because I'm just like, I just want to go guard you. So, I mean, that sucked. And I was even in JUCO, I was still all about the team. Like, I want to win because ultimately you need to win games to be seen. Like, you want to win all these tournaments and everything so that you can get to the national tournament and you can be seen by everybody. And so as much as it was, let me go get my money, it's like, we got to win this game and we need to win all of that. So it was hard to like not be there for my team. And so that was the hardest thing, but I had a really good physical therapist in Seminole that was there who actually got me back 2 months early. So I could have played in our tournament, but they didn't turn in my paperwork. So we had because nobody thought I could do it. I didn't really know I could do it. So just went for it. She worked me out. As soon as she said I was clear, I went out there, tried to play some, and then coach was like, so didn't turn in your paperwork. And you did all that basically for nothing.
That's
and
how you looked at it.
Broke my heart, dude.
Now,
like,
did your therapist tell you, well, maybe that's the wrong way to frame the question. Like, at what point during that comeback journey did you know that, dang, I'm ahead of the curve. Like, I could come back early.
Yeah.
Did she tell you that, or you just felt that?
I told her that was my plan. Going in, like, if I can finish, because again, I lost everything. I had nobody talking to me. So I told her if I could come back early, like, push me, it'll hurt. If I'm in here crying, yelling at you, just keep pushing me. And she was like, country chick, they be hard-headed. So she pushed me really hard, and I got back. So I was about a couple weeks out when she had me, like, sprinting in the office and stuff. And it was just hurting a little bit. And I'm like, if it's hurting a little bit and everything's solid, then I can do it. And so then by the time I went to tell my coach, like, hey, I'm good to go, nothing was hurting. So I was good, but, again, couldn't play.
Now, was that pain during or after you stopped or finished for the day? Like, dang, I can feel it now.
Yeah, it was after.
Dang, man. So you trusted it though.
Yeah, I mean, I
Without
had
the
no
brace?
choice. I didn't know brace. I
Ooh.
never did a brace.
Oh, you gangsta
I couldn't
mature.
stand braces. But no, I mean, I was like, I did all this work. I've been jumping and doing all this stuff in physical therapy. I mean, if I can do it in there, then I can probably go out here and cut and sprint. And so I just went out there full force.
I love that. Now I know I'm bouncing around, but
You're
I
right.
gotta hear about that state championship run in 2013 over here at Booker T, your senior year, right? And I was coaching at Muskogee at the time.
Okay.
And that was my second year. And I remember we played you guys in the area of championship, and y'all beat us. And then we had to go, that back route the next day. But then Union beat us, so that it was over. So I was a fan for the rest of the run, and I was like, and I'm looking at the landscape like, who could get it? And I was like, as much as I hated to admit it, I was like, yeah, Booker T the best team that's out this month. And then y'all ended up matching up with Bixby in the finals, right? And you beat them. Tell me about that whole run throughout that whole season. And what I'm interested in knowing is, and I ask this to all my coaches that I sit with that have a title under their belt, like at what point in that season did you see it? Like, okay, we could do this, or like, damn, we've turned a corner here.
So it's funny because so every day, like, you break and you say, whatever at the end. We said take state.
Yeah.
Like that entire year, that's how we broke. And I mean, Santa Fe had won 2 or 3 in a row at that point.
Yeah.
Bigsby's got a couple D1 players, so no one was checking. And then Southmore had to go through them. They had these towers over there, and so no one was checking for us. But we just kind of just kept saying it, just kept working the system. Right, we had Coach K at that time, the OG herself.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just knew when we got to state that we just had to finish it. Like it was never really a thought of we're gonna go in there and not win, but it wasn't necessarily like we're gonna go win it. It was just like, just next day, go win this next game, game. Then once we got to the championship game, I was like, ain't no way we're losing. So it took us getting there, because again, we had to go through Santa Fe, who I think you the only person that's ever said that you thought we would take it. Everybody else was like, absolutely not. So it was like, get over Santa Fe first, because everybody's expecting them to win. And then after we beat them, I was like, oh, we ain't losing to Bigsby.
And that was was that the quarterfinal matchup or the semis?
The semis.
Oh, so who'd y'all beat in the first round of state?
Sophomore.
See?
Yeah.
That's a tough route.
That's a tough route.
I remember both of those squads. Like, it was not no cakewalk.
Yeah.
All right, so that final game, what do you remember about that game? Is it a blur, or you still remember every little detail about that?
I don't remember a thing about that. The only thing that I know, not from memory though, is that I took a charge on their point guard, and they said she like stood over me and said something. I'm pretty sure I was blacked out. And from that, like, that's just because that's what I was told. But like Coach Ice, he tries to tell me about the game. I'm like, I'm just take your word for it, because I don't remember a thing.
Show me the film, dog.
Yeah.
So what was the celebration like that evening? You know what I mean? And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna share my little experience on it. I got to be a part of a championship team when I was a junior, right, in 2006. And like a lot of my guys, they went and did all type of unruly stuff for the rest of the evening. But I went back out to the Mabee Center because I just love to watch hoop, and plus, I just wanted to feel that love from everybody.
Right.
So, you go there, they gonna sing your praises and all of that. But what'd you do for the rest of that day?
I actually went and just kicked it with my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, the rest of my team went over our point guard's house, and they stayed over there, but I didn't go. I was just kidding. We went to a movie and like was just chilling. Like, it was like nothing just happened. So it's funny because one of my old players at Bigsby, she came to that game when we won, and she was like, "Yeah, y'all won it. I just went and sat in the stands and watched the next game after." And I was just like, "What?" Because I obviously don't remember.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, it was like y'all didn't even win the championship." And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. For one, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we was happy. Like, we did a lot after, but after it was just, I was just chilling after. I was happy. I really just wanted to get my ring.
When'd y'all get it?
We got it before the year was over.
Oh, so it was before the summer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's straight. That's straight. I got it done in the ring, in the spring rather. Can you still go to it right now? You know where it is?
Oh yeah, it's in a perfect spot because I have a ring from track too.
Wait a minute, don't let me shortchange you.
No.
From that same year?
No, it was from my freshman year. And so they're sitting next to each other.
Now, what was your bread buttered out there in the track life? What was your
What do you
event?
think it was? Because it's not gonna be what you think.
For some reason, why did the 400 come to my mind first? That's the first thing that came to my mind. So I'm gonna throw that out there without overthinking it.
No, it was long jump.
Definitely
I refused to run.
You refused to run?
Refused. For one, I wasn't fast enough for the 100, and that was the shortest one. I'm like, if I'm gonna run, I'm gonna do the shortest distance. And we had some fast people. We had a girl that go to OSU, a couple girls that went to Langston that was cold with it, and so it was like, well, I'm not faster than y'all.
Yeah.
Then the 200, I tried that out once. Absolutely not. And then 4+, he tried to get me to the 800, two laps of sprinting. So I was like, let me get out here to this field. Yeah. So I did long jump and I did shot put.
Okay. Yeah, Lee. So something you picked up on kind of naturally?
Long jump, yes. Shot put, no. I was just a little strong back then.
Mm-hmm. Look at you. You know what I mean? Just a champ, just a winner, man. All right. Now, we're going to fast forward a couple chapters. Now you coaching, right? And that's just one of a few things that you do. And we were talking off the record before we got started, and you said that was not the initial plan.
At all.
2 questions. What was the initial plan, number one? And number 2, how did you find this, or how did this find you?
Yeah, so my initial plan was to be a social worker.
I can see that.
So I went to college for that, and then I was trying to decide after I graduated if I wanted to get my master's or not, which I would have needed to.
Right.
But I was going to take that summer off, not work, not do anything. And so, again, Haley, she was working with Sean Williams on the girls' side of PWP, and they had a trial, and they had enough girls for 2 teams. And so they needed another coach.
What age group?
High school.
All right.
17U, 16, 17U.
There you go.
And she told him that I would do it, and then she came and told me that I would do it. And so that's how I got
There was not
coaching.
a question in there.
Not a question in there. I was voluntold that I would be coaching. So I'm fresh out of college. I'm not doing anything, right? And I'm like, well, I get to travel and hang out with my best friend and watch basketball. Like, it's not a bad gig. And so that's actually how I got into coaching. I was told.
Did you love it immediately?
Immediately.
Oh, yeah.
I sucked at it my first year, though, obviously. Well, not obviously. Not everybody sucks. But I sucked at it that summer.
How? How were you grading yourself to be like, yo, I sucked?
Winning and losing.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's AAU, but, I mean, these girls, again, you're trying to get them to colleges, right? So, like, it's important. And, I mean, I had some solid players on the team that I had, but managing them, managing game, like, you would think it would transfer naturally from playing, but for me, it didn't. I did not do good. So she helped me a lot to help us, like, get going at the end of the summer.
Right.
But, yeah, no, I did not do good at it that first summer.
Lord have mercy. Okay, so at that time, you how old?
22.
22, 20, yeah. See, I was hoping you'd say that number. So you're 22, and probably the oldest girl that you're coaching is 16 or 17 years old. Y'all pretty much in the same generation.
Yeah.
So how was that communicating with them? You know, drawing that fine line between, you know, I'm cool, but I'm business though at the same time. You know what I mean? Because that line can get blurred if you ain't careful.
Yeah, so it was actually great. My first couple years of coaching,
right.
It was just respectful kids. So it's like none of them ever crossed that with me. It was good in order to like know what they talking about. Yeah. Even now, like I'm still pretty young. My girls are like 8 years younger than me, so for the most part, I still know what they're saying.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't. I'm just like, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah, but they'll tell me. But the line, it actually never got crossed. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Back then, they were just trying to go play basketball.
Mm-hmm. So that next year, you say you were better, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Now, was it a matter of you just learning from your experiences, or did you go and pursue some continued education? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so so I went to Bixby right after that first year.
Okay.
Yep, after that first summer.
On purpose, or they came and got you?
They came and got me.
All right.
So a girl on Haley's team, she went to Bixby. She was their point guard, and I don't know what happened to their assistant coach, but they were down a coach.
Right.
And so her mom talked to Tina Thomas, the coach over there, and me and her met, and she liked me, and so she got me a job out there, and then she let me come coach with them. And so just getting that experience, like she, would write up the practice plan and like have me look over it. And so she'd be like, change, tweak, whatever you wanted to. So I would make it go smoothly. And then that went into, okay, do you have any drills? So it's like, okay, I'll give you 10 minutes to do this drill. That turned into, what drills do you want to do? How much time do you need to do it?
Yeah.
And so then that went to write up the practice plan every single day and just come show it to me.
Yeah.
And so she just like gave me that confidence that like, you know what you're doing, just like calm down. And then obviously she taught me game management, you know, putting in play. She had me break down the film for everything. So that gave me the confidence. And then she was just like, yo, you could really do this. Like, if you want to be a head coach, whenever I'm done, you can take over.
Yeah.
And so just her, like, kind of starting to hand over things to me and give me that confidence and, like, you shouldn't have said it this way, or say that this way, or that's too harsh, or that's too soft. And so she just kind of helped mold me into being a better coach.
I love to hear that. Yeah, that's really paying it forward. You know, keep continuing the game. Do you have any aspirations to run your own show one day?
I don't know.
Or is it too soon to ask?
It's too soon to ask.
I got you. A lot comes with that, like we were talking about off the record as well.
Yeah.
So, were you at Bixby for 1 or 2 years?
Just 1 year.
Just 1 year? What happened then? Why just one, rather?
I just wanted to come back to Booker T.
Really?
Like, I had not thought anything of the city of Bixby, let alone their program, since we played them to win state. And so it was really just like by chance that I got there, right? Because I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything. I like coaching.
Yeah.
You want me to coach with you. I know some of the players. I knew 2 of the players, actually. So that's how I got out there. I was teaching with their alternative school, right? So kind of along that social work line of those kids. And then I was just like, I don't want to keep driving out to Bixby every single day. And I'm living 8 minutes from Booker T.
Yeah.
And so, and then other reasons that, you know, I wouldn't say, but you know what I'm talking about. And so then an opening became available here, back at the crib, back at home, right at Booker T. And so I told her, and I came on back.
Wow. So what does that mean to you to be back at the crib, like where you made your bones? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it's got to feel away when you walk in here. Maybe not so much now. You've done it for a bunch of days. But early on, was it weird? Like, man, I had this moment where this my crib.
Yeah. It still catches me sometimes that like I'm at Booker T. My name is still associated with that. And then walking through the hall, still some of the same teachers here. I know the principal. She was my principal at Carver. So it was, especially early on, it was just so exciting every single day. Like, I won here. I want to get a ring from coaching here now. Like, being able to give back to the program that really developed me, like, as a person. I give so much credit to this court and not this court, but the court and Coach K for it. And so I'm like, I want to be able to give back to these girls that I get to coach that are in my same position, walking through these same halls, complaining about some of these same teachers.
Yeah.
And so just being at home, you know.
Now, is it just coaching over here? They got you in the building too?
Oh, no. For one, I can't teach people that are taller than me or my height.
All right.
So I can't do it. So I was teaching over at Tulsa Legacy Charter, which is about 10 minutes from here. I was teaching second grade.
There you go. So you got it in you, in the kid business all the way around.
Yeah.
I feel that. Okay, so today, what's your role on this current staff? You know what I mean?
Shoot, everything but the head coach.
Everything but the head coach. You had everything?
But I mean, it's just me and Leva basically.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not I mean, it's just us two. And then Coach Ice helps us, right? But we tag team freshmen. We tag team sophomore because we got that too.
Yeah.
And then I take JV and then I assist him for varsity.
Ooh, so you, let me tell you something. In my opinion, the assistant coaches, they always have the pulse of the locker room. You know what I mean? And sometimes I miss being that first point of contact for the players, and because I'm like, man, listen, what's such and such thinking? They may not give me the game. For some reason, the head coach is like the boogeyman to them.
Yeah.
But they'll go holler, hey, coach, Rachel, man, he tripping, man. Can you talk to us? Any of that did you deal with on the day-to-day?
On the day-to-day.
Oh, wow.
For one, that's what Leva asked me to do as well. Right. His biggest thing is just see what I can't see. Have my eyes where I'm not at, right? Have the ear to the girls, to the locker room.
Right.
But it's natural. Again, I'm not that much older than them, right? So they're still pretty comfortable, too comfortable, I would say. I'd be like, chill out. Come and tell me things. And so it's good because I know, like, hey, Leva, it's going a little left right now. Like, the girls is here. Or, you know, just assure him everything's going good. But I love it because I'm really big on being able to help them grow as people.
For sure.
And so not being the head coach, right, which is why I'm in no rush to get there, they're comfortable talking to me. I have a couple meetings with some girls every single week, like on just personal life-to-life stuff. And so being in this position, they're able to be comfortable enough to talk to me about some real – high school is an important part of your life, right? So much stuff is going on. some real stuff that's not just basketball. And some stuff is like, hey, I do need to tell him like what's going on with you.
Yeah.
You know, just for us protecting you because we are in that part of your life, right? More than just on the court. But that's definitely my favorite part of just having access to them beyond running up and down the court.
Yeah. Have you caught yourself having to like stop yourself from keeping it too real with them? And what I mean is, I really had to learn what it means to meet them where they are, because their reality is their reality. Even though I may know from my experience that, man, that's some bull. You're not gonna be worried about that in a week from now. But to them, it's everything.
Yeah.
Like, how do you battle through that?
I'll say it's player to player, as you know. It's hard because I am definitely a black and white direct person. So I had to learn, like, she's not you. You know what I'm saying? You can't say it that way to her. Maybe you can't say it at all without her breaking down. Yeah. And then you want them to continue to be comfortable coming to you. You don't want to, like, break their spirit. Like, that's stupid. Yeah. I don't care about that, and you shouldn't either. Right?
Never coming to talk to Coach Block no
right.
more.
Right. So I definitely learned that actually from Bixby. I made one of my best players cry. I thought I was saying nothing bad, right? So I ended up having to go back and talk to her. But coming back here, obviously different kind of girls.
Yeah.
I learned, like, okay, you might need to be softer. And some, and then other girls, I just go off on them. And and my go off is not everybody else's go off, right? I don't yell or cuss or anything.
Right.
But they know when I'm going off, right? And that's how they respond. And so they're perfectly fine with me saying, black and white, that was a horrible decision. Like, you setting yourself up for failure here. And the other girl's like, well, let's talk about that. Like, let's think about how that's going to affect you later, right? Like, kind of make them think that it's their thoughts. So it's definitely hard because, again, that's not my personality.
A little psychological warfare going on. But before we pivot from the basketball chapter, what about this year's team this season? So how's it going so far? Be honest, Miss Black and White. And it's a cliche question, but I want to know, what's the ceiling for this group? So
this year it's been a tough year.
Yeah.
So young, like inexperience, right? Inexperience and classification, right? We start 3 seniors and 2 freshmen. Out of that 5, 2 of them have had varsity experience up until here, right? And then out of our 7 that we really play, no varsity experience, another freshman. And then if for whatever reason we go up to 9, another freshman, and then a junior who has no varsity experience again. So and we had a tough first half of our schedule. Yeah. Like, we started with Bixby, right? They're number 2, we're in the state championship last year, same team basically. Yeah. Start with them, we tournament of champions, right? Yeah. Tournament of champions for a reason. Getting smack.
Yeah. I remember I ran into you after one of the games. I said, how'd y'all do that, man? We got killed. I was like, what? Hey.
Oh, man. So we put them girls through the fire. Yeah. And it was hard because, again, they're young. So are they going to be strong enough to keep going, or are they going to shut down for the rest of the year? But luckily, our girls, they're some tough little people. And now we're starting to win. We won a couple games, people higher than us now. We've won our past 4 or 5 games. So and I think the ceiling still is winning state. Yeah. Which is hard to say because 6A is some good teams, right?
Yeah, somebody good ain't going to go.
Yeah.
Always.
And even now we're playing some teams that normally they lose to everybody by 20. And this year they losing by 4 or 5 or winning, right?
Closer.
Yeah, every game is close now. And so it's hard to say, the ceiling is winning state, but we got some talent on this team. And so it's like, as we're continuing to mesh and obviously growing and progressing as a team, we're going to peak at the right time. Like, we took all that butt whooping, and I mean smacked, right, up until now, but now it's coming together, and so
Another basketball question. When you got over here to Booker T as a coach, were y'all still in Green Country Conference, or was it Frontier at that time already?
No, I came in at Frontier.
Oh, yeah?
So the year before, they won 5A with Green Country.
There you go.
And then I came right into Frontier.
Yeah, it's battles every night.
Left Bixby. Now I got to go play them the next year.
It's like, we know you. All right, now I'm really interested in this right here. You, as a real estate agent, right? First of all, you got one of the hottest IG handles out there. The block is hot. You know what I mean? I love that. That's hard. So just tell me all about it. How? Because that to me, in our conversations off the record, that hadn't come up. So I'm like, did you fall into that, or that was always somewhere in the back of your mind that you wanted to do?
Everything I've done, I fell into. So like teaching, we can go back to teaching. That's what I was doing. Was not trying to be a teacher at all. I was trying to be like a teacher's assistant, a pair or something. And from people I know, this principal at another school, she was up there when I was trying to interview and was like, she's not going to be a TA, she's supposed to be a teacher. And that's how I got a teaching position. Again,
on your behalf?
On my behalf.
No permission?
Took me into the office and was like, find her a teaching job. And I was just like,
all right.
Okay, I guess I'm a teacher because y'all not listening to me, the person, for some reason. And then real estate, my dad owns a couple properties that he wanted me to manage. And so I was just talking to my homeboy about it and had no idea he owned properties here. He doesn't live here, though. So he's like, help me manage these properties. And then he told another homeboy about it, who, again, I hadn't talked to them. So they're like, we have a couple together, manage them.
Right.
And so then I learned that you should be licensed to do that. If you're not licensed, you're legal. And so
Pops didn't tell you that too?
No, he didn't know. And so I'm like, I'm all out here, like all over Facebook, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all could get in trouble. I gotta get fined, you know? And so I decided to take a course to go ahead and get licensed. And that's when I realized property managers don't make no money for a lot of work. And I'm like, I just left teaching, so let me not go into the same thing. And so that's how I ended up being a realtor and love it.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges in that field? You know what I mean?
The biggest one for any of us, not just me, but especially if you're not married, is it's all on you.
Yeah.
Like finances, paying for things, getting it out, like you by yourself. You're not getting no money coming in unless you work. So it's a legit hustle. And my personality isn't just to talk to strangers. Right. And so that's something I've been having to grow because strangers is money. You know what I'm saying? I've been blessed that I've been nice enough to people I know, like, hey, I'm about to sell this house, sell it for me. I'm about to buy a house, help me to buy it. So I've had a lot of business from just people that I know. But moving forward to expand my business now, I got to talk to strangers. And so it's like door knocking, sending out letters, you at Walmart, and just ear hustling and just talking to strangers. So that's been, the hustle isn't the hardest part. It's like how I have to hustle has been hard. So I'm getting better at it though.
Yeah. How long you been in it?
Since July.
Really? So it's not like you found your footing on the low already, huh?
Well, I have a coach. And so I wasn't gonna do it by myself.
I got you.
And so she helped me. So all of last year from July to December was trying to figure out what I actually like to do. Yeah. And then at the top of this year, we came put a game plan of what I like to do and was willing to do every single day.
So what does a regular day for Rachel Block look like?
A regular day for me. So wake up, gotta eat breakfast.
Thank you.
Get some fuel.
I ain't doing nothing before I put the gas in the tank.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Get timing with God, obviously, and then I get right on my computer. So I start looking for, right now I do for sale by owners. So people that's trying to sell themselves, go ahead and get about 10 of them a day. I'll either call them or send them a letter or do both. I also do vacant land. So it's a whole lot of land out here and people love to buy land and it's quick, right? Quick cash. Do the same thing with them. And then I also do expireds. So people that tried to sell their house last year and it didn't sell, mostly because it was overpriced, right? People kind of being a little greedy with the market. Right. And so I just get about 30 of those a day. And I start reaching out to people. And then obviously the people that I know, I send emails out. So I have to do my research for whatever I want to send out that month. And then I go to practice. So I got from about 8 to 2:15, 2:30, you know, I'll eat in there again.
For sure.
And then, practice and games and all that takes up my evening.
One hat, take that sucker off, put on another one. Okay, so this may sound like a wild question, but I remember one time, I think I ended up sharing one of your posts because I knew who you were. So I'm like, okay, this is a human to me. Right. But if I didn't know you, I probably would have ignored that message that I'm pretty sure you sent to everybody. So how accessible are you really to where I know, okay, I'm talking to Rachel Block and not some entity? Right. So the message you probably got that majority of people got was just like the blanket message, right? Yeah. Since then, I've grown to be more personalized in my messages. So whether it's me stalking somebody's page real quick and saying like, oh, your kid just turned 2 or whatever. Right. And then I've been doing more just posting on social media. Like I really don't like to post.
I'm a watcher, you know what I'm saying?
Come on now, I thought I was a cook for that.
No, and so you know, making sure I'm liking people's stuff, commenting on it. So I devote about an hour at least to just making sure people know I'm a real person.
Are you a homeowner yourself?
I'm not a homeowner yet.
Nah. Now I'm not either. But the reason I ask that is because this is gonna sound super inexperienced, but oh well, that's really where I'm at with it. It's like that whole process to me. There's a tad bit intimidating. Like I look at. Well, I hear the horror stories from people who either went through it and something didn't go like it was supposed to. Even some people who are doing just fine. When they break it down to me, I'm like, whoa, just that little spill was overwhelming.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it once you look at it through your own lens? Like
about me
day,
buying?
Yeah, one day I'm pretty sure you're gonna buy, right? So,
right. It's not intimidating.
No.
I think it becomes intimidating because it can be a lot of words that just don't make sense, right? And it seems, especially buying, like it's this huge process. It's really not. It's really, if you have the funds and you have the credit, right, then you have somebody that walks you through everything else after that. That's why you should get an agent. And so you know, get pre-approved unless you got cash. Blessings to you if you got the cash, right? Get pre-approved, and then you go find a house. Your agent's gonna write up the contract, and they should talk everything through with you, so that should give you some ease, right? Your agent can basically give you everything you need from then. So if you need inspections, right, and you're like, who do I go through for inspections? We have a list for you already. And so then your title company does all the back work, and you go in and you sign papers, and then you get the keys. Now there's some things in the middle, right, that I didn't say, but I mean, it can be that black and white for a buyer, because you should have somebody working for you to do all of those other things that you're like, what the heck? Now, if you go out, you get on contract, and you go buy a car, then obviously you done messed yourself up, right? And that's what a lot of people do. They're excited. They want everything to be new, and they mess themselves up. But your agent should be watching everything, and that makes it a lot easier. So me knowing the process, I'm like, it's not intimidating to me.
Yeah, so you behind the curtain now.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I hear language like the market, it's a seller's market right now, or it's a buyer's market right now, where does one go to find this information to even know whether it is or it's not? You know what I mean?
Right. So it's actually free information for anybody that goes to Greater Tulsa Association of Realtors.com. And you can go, it'll have like news, and you can go to statistics. Like, they give you all the information that we're actually pulling from. The only back knowledge that we'll have is that, like, when you say a seller's market, that just usually means there's a low supply, right? So there's not a lot of houses out and a lot of demand. So a bunch of people are trying to buy houses. So you list a house and you might have 10 offers on it. And so of course you have like, hey, this one is the price that I listed. I don't want it because this one is $5,000 over. Or they're all the price that I want, but they're willing not to do inspections or whatever. So when we say a seller's market, it's because they just have more people trying to buy that house, and so they can be more selective. And typically they can say, hey, all y'all got the same offer, nobody's better. And somebody will come back, well, I'll offer this or I'll take this away. Where in the buyer's market, it's a whole lot of houses available, right? And so they'll say, hey, as a seller, I'll pay some of your closing costs, or I'll go down on the price. Just somebody buy this house. And so that's what we usually mean.
For you to only be roughly a half year into this, you making some headway. I'm loving that. All right, now I want to talk influences. Right? I don't think anybody gets where we are totally alone. Like we got our game from somebody, or whether they know that they helped us or not, we took something from probably a multitude of people. So who are some of your greatest influential people in your life? Not just limited to basketball or limited to real estate, just overall.
Oh man, that's a great question.
I might.
I'll go in order, really. So obviously I have my mother, right? I mean, most people's such a strong woman, right? And she's an influence in me because we have the same heart of helping people and giving back. Right. Hers just a little bit differently, and that's why I tried to go into social work, because of her. She works with special adults, and so just willing to give the call off her back to anybody, to strangers, right? She's huge, that person that's the best gift giver to people that don't talk to her, right? So that's her.
Will she talk to strangers?
Oh yeah, she talks to strangers. Okay. Oh, absolutely.
I see the difference.
Yeah, no. I'm not her, but I take some things from her, just not that.
True.
And then the next one would really be Coach K here. Yeah. She was the person that told me, you're a leader and you need to start acting like it. And so she told me that, and then she held me to that. And so that really, like, changed me moving forward. Because as a leader, you got to move differently, right? Especially she was like, you the leader, you finna get it every day, and you gonna live up to that standard. And so just teaching me integrity, to hold my own. Don't say nothing if you're not doing it. And so that really propelled me into my life as an adult, like college and then moving forward. And then I gotta say, because she just kind of set me up for success, is Haley Langston.
Yeah.
I mean, just a great woman, a great person, period. But like, I'm coaching because of her, right? And that just sprouted so much more of my life. But the woman of God that she is, just the way people just love her, right? Just attracted to her, and her personality type. And so she's helped me grow as a person, definitely on a more intimate level, because she is my friend. She's not a coach, and obviously a parent is intimate, but it's different. And then, let's see, beyond that, I would honestly say Sean Williams.
Yeah.
Sean, I gotta give it to Sean. Him and Rod, freaking amazing men, right? What they're doing, but in coaching, and just because I was this way as a person, right? I was trying to go into social work but using basketball as a tool to influence people, right? And so obviously you know that as you're like going through it, but when someone's intentionally saying like, we're using this to help kids grow, to help kids get their life changed with a scholarship, to help kids make better decisions, a man of God, you know what I'm saying? So he helped me to be more intentional with, and Leva is the exact same way, and I love that. So I got two of them, you know what I'm saying, with having a heart for kids and for people, and just using this responsibility that you got, not just to win games, but to help people grow. And I'm like, if I'm not going into social work, then I got to do that another way. Yeah. And they were intentional, like, do that through basketball.
And it's so, I'm not gonna say easy, but it's a great opportunity to use team sports to do that. And of course, I'm a basketball guy, like you a basketball girl. I'm biased. This the greatest sport right here. Now, here's how we're gonna finish it up, though. I want you to go back in the archives, all right?
Okay.
Yeah. So at any level, whether it was at Seminole, or it was at RSU, or if it was at Booker T, you lost a game that you weren't supposed to lose, and it still sticks with you to this day. You look back, and it's like, listen, no way they should have beat us. And so if you go back in time and run it back, you're going to that game. Which game is that?
I'm going to go to the first one that came to mind is we played Murray State up there. And I'm eating them up both ways, offensively, defensively, right?
Okay.
And I missed two layups. We lose by 2, though.
Yeah.
I missed 2 layups at the end. One, I get a steal. She bumped me. It could have been a foul, right? It wasn't enough not to be an and one. Miss it. They go down. They score. They go up 2.
So you didn't get the whistle?
I didn't get the whistle.
Lord.
Right? Regardless, though, it wasn't enough not for me to finish.
Right. I like your mindset.
Come back down. Chance to win the game. Spin move for a layup. She ain't fouled me this time. I just missed it. And for one, we shouldn't even have been in a game with them. Like, they weren't bad, but like, we was good that year.
Right.
And we're kind of tripping, we're kind of lax. One of those games where they shouldn't beat you, but you let them beat you because you chilling.
Yep.
And to know, like, you had 2 chances to put this game away, personally you, and you missed both of them. And it's layups. It's not a shot. You know what I'm saying? And so after that, I was just like, golly, I ain't missed no more layups after that. I'll tell you that.
Go. Now, on that second one, did you anticipate some contact coming and it didn't come? You altered the shot?
Yeah. Because I'm like, she just fouled me.
Right.
Like, she definitely going to foul me now, but, I mean, smart, end of the game, she was solid. And so I was just like, tragic.
I always ask that because it's trippy to me that I'm pretty sure in most people's stories, you could think of way more winning moments than the losing moments, or brighter moments than the darker ones, but the darker ones, they up front.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? All the rest of it is in the back. So, well, listen, this has been fun. I learned a lot about you. I think this is like the first official, like, real conversation we had, even though I've known who you are for a minute. So, much success to you. I'm rooting for the Hornets. Finally, you know what I'm saying? I can come out of my little hole and say that. But I love to see what you're doing and continue that.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, man.
No doubt.